Sharing our stories. This is Arlington Celebrates Black History Month starts now.
Hello and welcome to the special edition of This is Arlington, where we're celebrating Black History Month. I'm Noah Sershin. On this episode, we're sharing stories of African Americans here in Arlington and across the nation, changing the lives of people all around the world. One woman in Arlington and Shelby County government is hoping that more young people of color will serve in these roles. Dr. Nicole Austin serves as the Administrator for Support Services for the Public Works Division of Shelby County. She also serves on the planning committee for the town of Arlington, which she's been a part of for years. Some of the most notable projects she's worked on during her time was the Baptist Hospital and Chipotle. Now, while Austin isn't the first woman or first person of color to serve in Arlington's government, she believes in representation and hopes to inspire teens to get involved in government.
Representation, it just offers an opportunity for everyone to be included. It gives, young people an opportunity to see that their voice actually matters. It's not a time to just sit silent. It's not a time to just accept the norm, but representation allows for an opportunity for all to embrace where we are today, no matter how we got here.
Austin also told me that if you ever come to the Planning Commission meetings, you might notice her two children sitting there. That's because she believes that children should be involved in seeing that the work being done in government involves their future. President Donald Trump marked Black History Month at the White House last week, making an appearance at a celebratory reception. It comes in the wake of Trump issuing a wide-ranging executive order ending federal government's diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Joining Trump were Black political figures and activists who have been vocal supporters. Invited guests included Republican Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, Alveda King, a niece of civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr., Herschel Walker, the former football legend who is Trump's choice as a U.S. ambassador to the Bahamas. Rap stars Kodak Black, Lil Boosie, and Rod Wave were also in attendance. Now, Trump didn't mention his anti-DEI plans during the event. He's called those programs, quote, discrimination and pushed to eradicate diversity programs from the government. The administration has issued a deadline to schools and universities to eliminate diversity initiatives or risk losing federal money. Major corporations have backtracked on DEI policies in hiring, promotion, and workplace culture in recent months, with many citing legal challenges from the administration. A Memphis woman is stepping into a major role, one that could change lives. Alice Marie Johnson, once granted clemency by former President Donald Trump after serving over 2 decades in prison, has now been appointed as pardon czar, leading efforts on criminal justice reform. Johnson was sentenced to life in prison in 1996 for a nonviolent drug offense and served 21 years before her release in 2018. Following President Trump commuting her sentence, she has collaborated closely with Trump on criminal justice issues, becoming a prominent advocate for reform.
I feel that God has placed me here to see that. And I've been given this role to really look at cases like that also. It's for all Americans. I want to make DeSoto County proud. I want to make Tennessee proud. I want to make this nation proud and see what one person can do to effectuate change. Because sometimes we think I'm only one person, but just watch what one person can do.
Johnson acknowledges that Black Americans have been disproportionately affected by the justice system and is committed to advocating for fairness for all. She also expressed gratitude that this announcement comes during Black History Month, highlighting the ongoing journey towards justice. A new exhibit in Kansas City is highlighting Black Americans who paved the way in flight and space exploration. The exhibit is now open at the Bruce R. Watkins Cultural Heritage Center. It's called Black Wings, American Dreams of Flight. Lieutenant Colonel Reginald Bassa was on hand for the opening and explained why it was so important.
As time goes along, the kids coming along here don't know anything about the Tuskegee Airmen, because if you don't keep it alive and going, it's going to just drift away. And so we got to keep pushing forward to keep it going. That's what I say.
The exhibit also has a section devoted to the Tuskegee Airmen who fought in World War II. Black Wings will run through Saturday, May 3rd, and it's free to the public. Well, starting a business can be a hard task for anyone, but being a young Black teen in school and operating a business can be even harder. One teen here in Arlington is turning her pain into passion with her own catering business. Our Sanai Little sat down with senior Kamaya Orr with how she's doing just that. Sanai, what did she have to say?
Noah, Kamaya told me that she never expected her business to blossom into what it is today. I sat down with her about her Sprinkles of Love, how Sprinkles of Love came to be. How you doing, Kamaya?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really excited to hear all about your business and just everything behind it.
Yes, I'm so excited for this opportunity.
Of course. We're just gonna start. What inspired your cooking? How long have you been doing this? What started?
So I've been actually a business owner for about 3 years now. It'll be 3 years in May. But actually, like, just in the kitchen and everything like that, it's been as long as I can remember, honestly. I grew up cooking with my grandma, and when she passed, I ended up using baking as a coping mechanism from her passing, in which it just honestly just blossomed. I had no intentions of being a business owner. I wanted to be a lawyer when I grew up, so it just kind of just happened spur of the moment. It wasn't anything that I was looking for.
Well, I'm gonna go to high school then.
Okay.
What really clicked it for you when high school started? Like, oh, I want to do this as a business for real.
So I started off by making peach cobbler. And so then I realized that peach cobbler isn't something that people would just naturally gravitate to as a dessert. It's more so of a craving and just a sweet treat that you want to fix a craving for. Right. So then I got a few recommendations from some people that I know, and they were like, you should try making cookies. And I was like, y'all, I do not want to bake. Like, I had no intentions of baking. I love to cook. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna just give it a try. And so I ended up starting with 2 flavors, chocolate chip and red velvet. And since then, the cookies have blossomed. I now have about 25 different flavors of cookies. And then that's when I relaunched my whole entire business into a 3-in-1 catering shop, offering comfort meals, desserts, as well as lemonade. So that's when it just all kind of blossomed sophomore year.
All right, cool. Can you give us a rundown on the flavors?
Of the flavors of cookies?
Yes.
All right, so we got strawberry lemonade. I have traditional strawberry as well as lemon. I have nana pudding cookies, s'mores, chocolate chip M&M, chocolate chip pecan. I have confetti. I have 2 different flavors of brookies, which is like a brownie and a cookie. Boom, together, one with Oreos, one without. I also have cinnamon roll cookies, and you can imagine that as a cinnamon roll and a cookie had a baby. So boom, there we go. And that's the gist of it. I have a few others as well.
I love all that. Just sounds amazing, and I'm a huge fan. I love them. They're so good.
Yes, I just like to put my own like little creative twist to cookies because they don't have to all be so boring, you know?
Yeah. What would you say like your little twist is?
My twist?
If you can give it out.
So I would say, honestly, just making it your own. I dibble and dabble in different things, and I'm like, I wonder will this go together? I wonder will I can do this? And then I just, of course, look online and get a few inspirations, and then I really just put them all together to make them my own. That's really the only way that I do it, really.
Okay. Well, next question. What has been the businesses and yours personal like accomplishments and like things that have been good for the business so far?
Really, I would say the big main opportunity and just accomplishment that I've had with my business is rebranding. I started off, like I said, with the desserts, but last year I rebranded into an entire 3-in-1 catering shop offering meals, desserts, as well as drinks. And so that's just been the biggest accomplishment, not just offering one service.
I really love that. That's really awesome. Tell me more about the food, not just the desserts, the 3.
Yeah, so I offer comfort meals as well. So just food that is really catered to heal your soul. You know, we all gotta eat. We all gotta eat, and sometimes you just really need a soulful meal. And people don't realize that food can heal you too. So, you know, when you eat it, it's just like, you know, you can start dancing. It's just so many emotions that come along with food. And I feel like I just bring the healing aspect to it because I really show my love through my food. And that's why my business is called Sprinkles of Love.
Some businesses, they'll have their thing, and then they try to either do what everybody else is doing or just, you know, do whatever, and it doesn't even, it's not their brand no more.
Yeah, it doesn't equate to excellence either. So
quality over quantity every single time.
Absolutely, and that's what I definitely strive for, because that's also what's going to keep people coming to your business. Because people can try it and be like, oh, okay, that looks good, but you have to keep the clientele, and so that's what I strive to do as the spirit of excellence flows within me. So,
what would you tell your past self? It could be when you were a child, it can be when you started. Like, what would you tell her?
I would say, honestly, don't lean into the mistakes too much, because that's what's going to help you evolve. That's what's going to help you grow. That's what's going to help you figure out what it is that you want to do. Like I said, I didn't have the means, I didn't desire to be a business owner when I was younger. So I would really just say learn from the mistakes and grow from them. Don't dwell in the past. I would honestly tell her that.
That will be all today, guys. Thank you so much, Kamai, for being here with us.
Absolutely.
We'll be posting a full version on YouTube, IHS Tiger Life, if you want to see all the things about Sprinkles of Love. Definitely check out. Do you have a website yet? Or you have your business cards?
I do have my business cards. My website, I just shut it down after Valentine's Day, but it is about to be up and running at the end of this month. So.
All right. We'll put all her socials up, guys, so make sure to follow her. And thanks for tuning in.
I love Kamaya's cookies, and I love her business, everything about it. What do you think?
I know, her food is so good. I've had the cookies, I've had the shrimp fried rice, I've had the tacos. It's so good. Like, that is some good food right there.
Anytime anybody wants some good sweets, I always recommend them to Sprinkles of Love, for sure.
And the reason I can barely fit the suit is because those cookies, like, I just keep eating them and eating them. They're so good. Like,
something about them, it's just, I don't know. You can taste the difference in quality.
You really can't describe it, but look, if y'all want those cookies, you got to go follow her for that. Thanks so much, Sanai.
Of course.
Well, coming up on This is Arlington Celebrates Black History Month, telling the right story. How one museum is honoring the Negro Leagues. But first,
we're all just praying for the best to happen.
Those prayers answered nearly 7 decades later. Coming up on This is Arlington Celebrates Black History Month, the way the United States is honoring the life of Emmett Till. And going behind the movement, how hats are telling the story of late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s role in the civil rights movement. But before we get to those stories, hear a part of my exclusive interview with 2 students on how they're promoting literacy in the Mid-South. Stay with us.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Well, the power of literacy and education can be important for any child, but for some people, they don't have access to books. That's why one group of teens here in Arlington is making sure that every child here in the greater Memphis area has the power of literacy. Right now, I'm joined by Peyton and Bryson Cantrell with Book It for Life. Thank you all for coming on the show.
Of course.
Thank you. So I know you all have talked about Book It for Life. I've seen stuff on Instagram, all over everywhere. Just tell me, how did this come about for you all?
Well, me and Payne are both avid readers. In elementary school, we were looking around and we noticed that a lot of our peers didn't share that same love for literacy. And knowing how important literacy becomes, especially later in life, we decided we wanted to do something about that. So we started Book It for Life. It was just a book club at the time. We invited some of our close friends and it was nice. And eventually we got in touch with the Rotary, and that allowed us to expand into a lot of other libraries within the Mid-South area. So we had more reach to more kids. And then eventually, as the kids became more comfortable, it became kind of a social club, because we would come in, like, do our book club stuff and then discuss, like, issues that we were having in school. It became, like, kind of like a counseling session, you know?
And you know, the Rotary Club, that's like big in a bunch of big cities across here. What are some other organizations or clubs that have kind of sponsored and helped you all?
So like he said, all the Memphis libraries, they took us in, and with the public libraries, we were able to bring our book club elsewhere. We have worked with Rotary Club, and we have also worked with Interact and just various organizations to start to bring books everywhere. And that also helped us with, like, our book drives and things of that nature.
And I know a big topic for a lot of people, especially in the Tennessee legislature, for years has been that 4th grade reading retention law, holding 3rd graders back who aren't proficient on certain reading levels. I know you were talking about how passionate you were about that. How has that reading retention law, has that had any impact on how you all's outreach has been with your Book It for Life Club?
Yes, so the retention law has really brought into light how important it is to read. 3rd grade is really the most important year for kids to be able to get that literacy and to pass it on to the grades above. So with our business, we have focused a lot on bringing literacy to underprivileged areas, but also with things like the dictionary project, we've focused on going to 3rd grade and making sure kids are proficient in reading. And for the dictionary project, we were able to make sure that people were able to learn how to use a dictionary, what do you need to use a dictionary for, and then have a fun little scavenger hunt to make sure we are really getting that vocabulary going.
Your business, it goes far beyond just literacy. You have a business fair as well. Kind of talk to us about that. What is that all about?
So our business fair first started off as kind of just an idea that we got from another group. They did a business fair one year for Memphis Gifted Academy, and we participated in it, but it was in a very secluded area, and kids like us, or kids who kind of are black or in underprivileged areas, don't have access to that. So we came up with the Memphis Children's Business Fairs as a way for all kids to be able to be included in it. So the business fairs are hosted twice a year, and they are entrepreneurial fairs, which means kids from ages 6 to around 17 can come and bring their businesses to the mall and get to share it with other people around them. So it's been a great way to be able to see the smarts and the achievement of kids in the Mid-South.
I know also you have the 10 Less Than 20 Youth Impact Award. I think that was in the Memphis Parent magazine, I think talking about being successful and stuff. How did it feel to win such a big award in a magazine like that here in the Memphis area for y'all?
I mean, it was amazing because I feel like for me personally, I don't really speak for her on that, but it's kind of hard to imagine the impact that we may have on some of these other kids' lives. Like, I still kind of see what we do as like a group of friends just branching out, trying to do what we think is necessary in our community. So to be recognized for that, it's really brought to light that we actually do help people. We help people grow, and it's just nice, you know?
Man, to spiral out into something amazing like that, that's just really a testament to how dedicated y'all are to helping with reading. Now, I know we're about to go, but what are some upcoming events or anything that you all have coming up?
So we have an upcoming fair. It's going to be at the end of April. I'm not quite sure the date right now. We're working on that, but it'll be posted as soon as possible. Also, in the future, you can look at for Book It for Life to start doing some literacy projects to help grow our youth. And with the summer coming up, we can look for different summer programs or activities to help engage children into reading for the upcoming school year.
And for anybody to reach y'all's page, where can they go?
They can go to our new website, which is cbfmemphis.com. And then also you can reach us on any social media with CBF Memphis or Book It for Life.
All right, you heard it there. They're doing some great work and some great things here in the city. Thank you all, Bryson and Peyton, for coming on.
Of course.
Thank you for having us.
All right, we'll be right back.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Okay, here we go, throw it! Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
Nice.
Back. Last Friday marked a somber moment in the nation's history, the 16th anniversary of the assassination of civil rights activist Malcolm X. X was one of the most powerful voices in the fight against racism in the nation and a supporter of black nationalism. He was a spokesman for the Nation of Islam, but later he discarded the Nation of Islam's ideology in favor of Orthodox Islam. Malcolm X was fatally shot after he took the stage at the Audubon Ballroom in New York City on February 21st, 1965. His wife and 4 children were in the crowd. 3 men were convicted for his murder and were sentenced to life in prison. However, 2 of the men were exonerated decades later in 2021. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump called for the declassification of documents in the Malcolm X case. Last year, Crump filed a lawsuit against multiple government and law enforcement agencies, including the FBI and the CIA and the New York City Police Department. That lawsuit accuses agencies of engaging in a conspiracy that led to Malcolm X's assassination and carrying on a decades-long cover-up that deprived his family of justice. Well, it's been 69 years since the brutal kidnapping and murder of Emmett Till. Till was at a store in the Mississippi Delta when he was accused of whistling at a white woman. A mob of white men abducted, tortured, and lynched Till. His body was dumped in the Tallahatchie River in Drew, Mississippi, right in the Mississippi Delta. Former President Biden announced the designation of 3 sites as the Emmett Till and Mamie Till Mobley National Monument. This move comes after the Till murder got a lot of attention over the past few years. Dennis Turner is in Greenville, Mississippi with more on the push to honor the Till family.
The trial is moving along rather swiftly, and I do think that with the attorneys working as hard as they are, that we're going to get results.
Mamie Till Mobley didn't get the results she wanted at the trial of her son's murderers, but now the nation will honor her and her son Emmett in 3 national monuments, 2 in Mississippi. In Chicago, Till's home church, Robert's Temple Church of God in Christ, will become one of the elements in the monument as the place where Till's open casket funeral shocked the world. The others are Gray Ball Landing along the Tallahatchie River, where Till's body was thrown into the water, and the old Tallahatchie Courthouse in Sumner, where a jury acquitted his murderers, who later confessed to the crime. The Till case got a jump start again last year with the discovery of this unserved warrant in the basement of the LaFleur County Courthouse. It sparked protests when no one acted on the warrant, and another grand jury refused to indict the only living person involved in the murder, who has since died.
It shows the corruption here that Mississippi still stands whole ties to.
Now the world will remember this dark chapter in American history with 3 monuments, the 2 in the Delta and the 1 in Chicago, teaching an important historical lesson.
We're all just praying for the best to happen.
And if you would like to visit the Emmett Till and Mamie Till Mobley National Monument, it's just a 2-hour drive, Highway 61 in Sumner, Mississippi. Well, amid President Trump's calls to cut back on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, one congresswoman has introduced a bill that seeks to combat that. Along with other members of Congress, Massachusetts Representative Ayanna Pressley held a press conference on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. to revive historic reparations legislation. That bill aims to study and propose restitution for slavery and racial discrimination. Congresswoman Pressley says that it's a critical time to push for this bill.
Today, our government has a moral and legal obligation to right those wrongs, and reparations are a necessary step towards achieving justice. We are in a moment of anti-blackness on steroids, and we refuse to be silent. We will not back down in our pursuit of racial justice.
Well, this is not the first time this bill has been pushed. It faces a tough road ahead with Republican-controlled Congress. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from carrying out certain directives related to DEI programs. The judge said the government could not freeze or cancel equity-related contracts. The ruling also prohibits the administration from requiring grant receipts to certify that their programs do not promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. The judge wrote the directives are likely unconstitutional and that this order would apply nationwide. The case deals with an executive order Trump signed on his first day in office that had required federal agencies to terminate all equity-related contracts or grants. Several groups sued the administration, claiming the directive infringed on Congress's power of the purse. Well, the Negro League's Baseball Museum in Kansas City, Missouri will feature innovators and leaders in a new exhibit this spring. The museum recognized how the league brought night games into existence. Ryan Hennessy has a recap of the ceremony.
How popular was night baseball? He made his investment back in year 1.
That investment in 1940 was $50,000. Major League Baseball followed suit with night baseball 5 years later. And if you weren't watching the Monarchs back then, you wouldn't have known the Negro Leagues deserved the credit.
The moral of the story is this: if you don't control the pen, you don't control the story. Thus, your story is never written with the kind of accuracy or relevancy that it should be. This great museum, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, is about taking control of the pen and finally telling the story the way it should have been told years ago.
The other innovations the Negro Leagues brought were the first batter's helmet and the first shin guards worn by catchers, which were wooden. They will also pay tribute to the first black manager in the Major League, Frank Robinson.
We had these great leaders who were able to fight through discrimination, through racism, through everything under the sun to make sure that everybody could be equal. So I think it's really special, and I'm proud of the fact that we're recognizing it now.
The museum will expand its capacity by 30,000 square feet by breaking ground on a new building and, next door to it, a hotel. We checked in with Kendrick for an update.
When you're in a fundraising mode, things sometimes take a little time, and we've got to be patient, even though I am chomping at the bit to break ground. Once we break ground, we anticipate taking about 14, 16 months to complete the project.
Well, that was Ryan Hennessy reporting. The new exhibit opens in late May. Well, still to come on This is Arlington Celebrates Black History Month. It's not cookout season yet, but it's never too late to start line dancing. One group in Philly is strutting their stuff all the way to DC, how they're putting on this form of dance on the main stage.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Okay, here we go, throw it. Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
Nice.
Singer Roberta Flack has died. The Grammy Award-winning singer is best known for her romantic ballads like Killing Me Softly with his song. According to a statement from her publicist, Flack died at a home surrounded by her family. She said her voice was a gift, yet she wanted to be a concert pianist, but in the 1950s, the chances of a black girl becoming a professional classic pianist were slim. At age 15, she received a music scholarship to attend Howard University in D.C. She recorded more than 20 albums throughout her 5-decade career, with hit singles like Feel Like Making Love. Her death followed several years of health challenges, including a diagnosis of ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. She was 88 years old. Lester Holt is stepping down as the anchor of NBC Nightly News. In a memo to staffers on Monday, Holt said he would continue to host Dateline NBC, the network's primetime magazine, full-time. Holt will leave the newscast this summer. He was elevated to the job in 2015 and became the first African-American solo anchor of a weekday nightly news network. NBC did not immediately name Holt's successor. Tom Yamas, who frequently fills in for Holt, is in line for the job. Well, sometimes a hat is not just a hat. It can also tell the story about the person who wore it. A new exhibit recently opened at the Atlanta History Center called Hats of the King Family Women. It features a collection of 17 iconic crowns that were worn through poignant moments in American history, including the Civil Rights era. A director at the center shares in her own words why these hats and the women who wore them are so important in our nation's history.
These are the women around the man. These are the women that were significant to Dr. King's stance on morals and ethics and love. He was a chief advocate for love, and these are women that he loved and women that loved him. Martin Luther King Sr. So this photo is extraordinary. And that
will go on display in July. All right, well, those are a look at just some of the many line dances taking the Black community by storm right now. If you go to any cookout or event in the summer, seeing Black families dance in unison is commonplace. One soul line dancing group in Philadelphia is celebrating their moves to D.C. It's being archived in the National Library of Congress. Reporter Aziza Schuler sat in on one of the group's practices and has more.
5, 6, cross that right foot right.
Gloria Kincaid calls this her ministry. Every Wednesday, she's at the Scheller Center leading a room full of dancers through the steps of soul line dancing.
I've been teaching soul line dancing for 26 plus years.
Clearly, she has the footwork to prove it.
And heel toe left. How's she doing?
But if you've never seen or heard of this style of dance, it's exactly what it sounds like.
Country western, but we done soulified it, okay? Line dancing itself is a group of people in a line moving and turning at the same time. Soul is the music, the movements and the music. Think of when somebody say, you got soul, we're talking about something that touches you a certain way.
Well, it's a mind-body connection because you have to remember the choreography. You are part of the whole. You're never dancing alone, even though you're not physically touching someone. It's multi-generational.
Mother and daughter. My mom comes to this line weekly.
I love meeting new people, becoming like a family.
Wherever there's a space and music, you will find the line dance community.
The Delaware Valley has one of the largest soul line dancing communities in the nation. Its rich Black history and culture is documented in a project by folklore scholar and Jersey native Karen Abdul Malik. Next Wednesday, hundreds of dancers from the tri-state area will travel to D.C. to celebrate the archiving of the art form at the Library of Congress.
We're gonna dance. It's a party.
Movement is literally in our DNA.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here on This is Arlington Celebrates Black History Month. We hope you're able to learn something about our nation's past, the present, and the future in Black history. Make sure you turn on post notifications on YouTube for whenever we release a new episode of This is Arlington. For all of us here at This is Arlington and AHS Tiger Life, I'm Noah Sershin. We'll see you next time. Take care.